Welcome to Chapter 6, Empathy, Honesty, and Responsibility in Parenting. Lesson 6.1, The 3 Pillars of Strengthening Communication. In this lesson, we're going to dive into 3 key pillars that will strengthen your communication with your children: honesty, empathy, and responsibility. These 3 concepts are the foundation for effective communication in any relationship, but they're particularly crucial in parenting. Let's break it down. And of course, we'll keep it casual with a real-life example to bring these ideas home. Tash. A. Honesty. How to speak the truth with compassion. Honesty is essential in parenting, but it's not just about telling the truth. It's about delivering that truth in a way that builds connection rather than tearing down trust. Think about it. Have you ever given feedback that, while technically true, might have hurt your child's feelings? We've all been there. The key is to be honest while keeping compassion in mind. Real-life example. Imagine your son has just made a mess in the kitchen after trying to make pancakes. Your initial reaction might be to say, you never clean up after yourself. While this may feel true in the moment, it's not exactly helpful. Instead, a compassionate version might sound like, I see you worked hard on those pancakes. Can you also take a few minutes to clean up? It's important we take responsibility for our space. Lesson learned. When you speak the truth with compassion, your child is more likely to listen and grow from the feedback. Instead of feeling attacked, they feel supported and learn to take responsibility for their actions. The goal is to teach while preserving the relationship. B. Empathy. Creating safe and trusting conditions. Empathy is the glue that holds healthy communication together. It's the ability to step into your child's shoes, understand their feelings, and acknowledge those emotions. Creating an environment where your child feels heard and understood builds trust and fosters open communication. Real-life example. Let's say your daughter is upset because she didn't get invited to a friend's party. Instead of brushing it off with, "It's not a big deal," try empathizing with her. "I can see that missing out on the party is really hard for you. I understand how much you wanted to go." Lesson learned. By empathizing with your child, you show them that their feelings matter. This encourages them to open up in the future, knowing you're a safe space for them to express their emotions. C. Responsibility. Helping children take ownership of their lives. The final pillar is responsibility, teaching your children to take ownership of their actions and decisions. This is all about empowering them to understand that their choices have consequences, both positive and negative, and that they are in control of their lives. Real-life example. Your child is consistently leaving homework until the last minute, leading to late nights and stress. Instead of nagging or solving the problem for them, you might say, "I've noticed you're staying up late to finish your homework. How do you think that's affecting you? What can you do differently next time?" Lesson learned. When you ask questions and encourage reflection, your child starts to think critically about their choices. This helps them develop the maturity to handle responsibilities independently. Lesson 6.2, The Cycle of Strengthening versus Weakening Behaviors. Welcome to the ongoing adventure that is parenting. In this lesson, we're going to talk about something that many of us encounter on a daily basis: the cycle of strengthening versus weakening behaviors. It sounds fancy, but don't worry, we'll break it down in a casual and hopefully amusing way. Let's start with what we mean by strengthening and weakening behaviors. Simply put, strengthening behaviors are those actions that help our kids grow emotionally and take responsibility for their actions. On the other hand, weakening behaviors are those reactions we fall into, often in moments of frustration, that may solve a short-term problem, but end up stifling our child's ability to mature. Here's where it gets interesting. The way we respond to our kids' actions can either strengthen them or weaken them. Are we responding calmly and helping them learn, or are we reacting in a way that reinforces bad behavior or discourages responsibility? The strengthening side. Respond, don't react. Let's say your child comes home from school with a bad grade. The strengthening response? Instead of reacting with anger or disappointment, you take a moment to pause. You approach the situation with curiosity, ask open-ended questions, and work together to come up with a plan for improvement. This way, the child is involved in the solution and learns the value of effort, responsibility, and accountability. The weakening side: overmanaging and overindulging. On the flip side, weakening behaviors tend to either overmanage, control, or overindulge, given during these key moments. Maybe upon seeing the bad grade, you scold them, ground them, and take away all their privileges. Or maybe you overindulge by excusing the bad grade and telling them it's okay, even though it wasn't their best effort. Both of these responses undermine the child's ability to take ownership of the situation. The scolding reinforces that they can't succeed on their own, while the excuse signals that effort doesn't matter. Real-life example. Imagine this. It's dinner time, and your two kids are arguing over who gets the last slice of pizza. You could react by swooping in to settle it yourself, overmanaging, or you might let them duke it out and ignore it, overindulging. But a strengthening behavior would be stepping in and calmly helping them negotiate, letting them come to a solution themselves while you guide the conversation. Maybe one takes the pizza today, and the other gets the extra slice next time. In doing this, you're not just solving today's problem, you're teaching them the art of compromise and fairness. Lessons learned. The key takeaway from this example is that while it may take a little more effort to engage with strengthening behaviors, they lead to long-term growth. Kids learn that they are capable of handling challenges and that effort and responsibility matter. In contrast, when we react with weakening behaviors, we might resolve the immediate issue, but our kids miss out on learning valuable life skills. In conclusion, strengthening behaviors create a positive cycle where kids grow emotionally and learn to take responsibility. Weakening behaviors, while sometimes convenient, can lead to dependency, entitlement, or a lack of accountability. The more we focus on responding rather than reacting, the better we'll help our kids develop into capable, responsible adults. Looking to level up your marriage, parenting, or business skills? Visit freecoursesforall.com to learn the secrets to a happy marriage, how to raise mature and responsible children, and even how to build and turbocharge your sales funnel. Best part? They're all 100% free. We're constantly adding new content, so check back often to keep learning and growing. Ready to start your journey to success? Head over to freecoursesforall.com now. That's freecourses4all.com. Lesson 6.3, Building Trust, Self-Worth, and Personal Responsibility. Welcome to Lesson 6.3, where we tackle 3 crucial pillars of parenting: building trust, fostering self-worth, and helping children take responsibility for their own lives. In this lesson, we're going to dive deep into how these 3 elements work together to create a foundation for positive growth in your child. And let's be real, for your sanity as a parent too. A, building trust, the glue that holds everything together. Trust is the bedrock of any relationship, especially between a parent and a child. Think of trust like the Wi-Fi in your house. You don't really notice it when it's working, but as soon as it's gone, chaos ensues. Your child needs to feel safe enough to come to you, whether they've aced their math test or just broken the neighbor's window with a baseball. The goal isn't just to be their friend, but to be their trusted guide. Building trust doesn't happen overnight, and it's not about being perfect. It's about consistency. Keep your word, show up when you say you will, and listen without judgment when they come to you with the small stuff. If they trust you with the little things, they'll come to you when the big things happen too. Real life example. Imagine your teen comes home way past curfew and is clearly nervous about your reaction. You could immediately start yelling and grounding them for life, but let's pause. Instead, try to calmly ask, what happened? They might surprise you with an honest explanation. By reacting with understanding, you're showing them that they can trust you to handle even their screw-ups without flying off the handle. In turn, this builds trust for future situations. Lesson learned. Reacting with empathy instead of anger in those key moments strengthens trust. It lets your child know that while you won't always agree with their decisions, they can always rely on you to listen and respond thoughtfully. B, fostering self-worth. Let them know they matter. Kids with high self-worth are like plants that have been well watered. They grow, flourish, and eventually stand tall on their own. But a child with low self-worth, they'll wither, either withdrawing or acting out to get attention. The key to fostering self-worth is recognizing your child's unique qualities. Instead of generic praise like, good job, be specific. I'm really impressed with how you solved that math problem by breaking it down into smaller steps. This kind of specific feedback tells them that their effort and thought process matter, not just the outcome. Real life example. Your child spends an entire afternoon building a Lego spaceship only for it to break apart just before they finish. They're on the verge of tears, and you're tempted to say, it's just Legos, you can rebuild it. Instead, try this. I saw how hard you worked on that. You really put a lot of thought into each part. It stinks that it broke, but I'm so proud of your effort. You've just validated their experience, which builds their self-worth, even when things don't go perfectly. Lesson learned. Self-worth isn't about praising your child for every little thing they do. It's about recognizing their effort and making them feel seen. When they know they're valued, they'll feel more confident tackling future challenges. C. Encouraging responsibility. Taking the driver's seat in life. Responsibility is about teaching your child that they're in control of their actions and their consequences. It's about shifting the ownership of their life choices from you to them. Kind of like when you let them drive the shopping cart at the grocery store. Sure, it can be a bit chaotic, but it's a valuable learning experience. Helping your child develop responsibility means giving them the chance to solve their own problems. Rather than jumping in to fix things, even though it's tempting, ask them questions that lead them to their own solutions. This way, they're not just following orders, they're learning to think critically and make decisions. Real life example. Let's say your child forgets their homework at school for the third time this week. Instead of calling the teacher to bail them out, again, ask, what do you think you can do to avoid this next time? They might come up with solutions like setting a reminder on their phone or packing their bag the night before. By stepping back, you're teaching them to take ownership of their actions and the consequences. Lesson learned. It's not easy to watch your kids struggle, but stepping in too often can prevent them from learning vital problem-solving skills. Give them the space to figure it out, and they'll grow into more responsible, capable individuals. By focusing on building trust, nurturing self-worth, and encouraging responsibility, you're laying the foundation for your child to grow into a confident, independent adult. These pillars of communication aren't just about preventing meltdowns in the short term. They're about helping your child develop the skills they'll use throughout their life. Chapter 6. Summary. In Chapter 6, we explored the 3 essential pillars of strengthening communication with your child: honesty, empathy, and responsibility. We learned how to speak the truth with compassion, create a safe and trusting environment, and encourage children to take ownership of their actions. In Chapter 7, we'll dive into real-life parenting scenarios, applying these principles to everyday challenges you may face.